Apple just unveiled a new iPad Pro, a new iPad, and a new Apple TV. There wasn't a whole lot of fanfare. They just dropped the 3 new products out there, but we're rounding up all the things about each of those products for you right now. Here's everything you need to know about Apple's new trio of gadgets. Hi, I'm Andrew from Apt, and I'm here today to talk about the new iPad Pro with an M2 chip, the new ordinary iPad with a 10.9-inch screen, and the new Apple TV with an A15 chip in there. So these upgrades seem kind of incremental, but we've actually been waiting a while, more than a year, for Apple to update its iPad line. And given the launch of their new software, iPad OS 16, to go with iOS 16 on its phones, it makes sense to see these new iPads finally come to fruition, and you'll be able to buy them in stores as soon as October 26th, so you don't have to wait much longer if you've already been waiting a while to get a new iPad. Let's dive into the new iPad Pro. So Apple's gonna bring it out in 2 varieties, an 11-inch screen and a 12.9-inch screen. The 11-inch is gonna cost $799, the 12.9 is $1099, and the big new thing is that they're both gonna have Apple's M2 chip, which is the chip that Apple has rolled out into its latest computers. So if you're a power user of the iPad, this is probably a change you've been waiting for. If you want to use your iPad for graphic design, or if you're an engineer, or if you're an editor, or maybe your last name is Power, who knows? If you're a power user, you want this thing because it's gonna make your iPad that much faster. And this is not it, by the way. This is just an ordinary iPad that we had lying around, but this is kind of it because there's a picture of this new iPad Pro on here. But again, the physical device isn't ready yet. It's gotta wait a couple of weeks. In addition to the M2 chip, this thing is gonna have a feature where it will be able to detect if your Apple Pencil is hovering over the screen. It sounds like a minor upgrade, but Apple is talking about the different uses you can use with third-party apps and the amount of precision it can bring if you're trying to draw or design on the iPad. And I buy it. There could be some cool features here. So the idea is, as the pencil gets close to the screen, you don't even have to touch the screen. It'll be able to interact with what's on there. So hover over like a little text box on an app, and the text box can get bigger. Hover over something you're drawing, and you'll be able to see a preview of the mark you're about to make. There are interesting implications here, even if at first glance this seems like kind of a minor upgrade. And in addition to those big things, obviously with the M2 chip, you can expect a lot more processing power. There's gonna be a really nice video camera on the bigger iPad Pro, and it'll have all of the upgrades of iPad OS 16, including that Stage Manager app that will allow you to more easily multitask and switch between, the different projects you might need to work on. The iPad Pro is also getting compatibility with Wi-Fi 6E, which is the latest, fastest protocol, which should allow your iPad to be that much faster when you're connecting to things on the web. One strange thing is that the camera for the new iPad Pro is still gonna be along the top bar, so you have to hold the iPad vertically if you're on a video call. And the reason I say that's strange is because on the new non-Pro iPad, Apple is putting it along the horizontal bar. On the front of the iPad facing you, that seems to make sense. And I'm glad Apple is doing that on their new iPad non-Pro, let's call it amateur or just iPad. And for video calls then, the people that are talking with you will have the big wide picture of you, which is probably what they want. And I just kind of wonder why Apple didn't do that on the Pro as well. Details on the regular iPad: it's going to have 4 new colors, an A14 Bionic chip, which has twice the cores of A13's Bionic chip. So that is something if you want those cores. Look, again, for power users, that is probably a very meaningful and impactful change. For the rest of us, we're just gonna like the fact that the camera positioning makes that much more sense now. 10.9-inch all-screen display. Apple is calling it an all-screen display because it pushes that much closer to the edge. Although, if you look at the pictures of it, there's still some bezels. You can still see some bezels, but all screen display, and it does look like the display is very nice. The upgrade is very welcome, and if it's faster, if it's more colorful, and if the camera redesign makes a big difference on your video calls, this one could be worth an upgrade, and it's obviously not gonna cost nearly as much as the iPad Pro. It's gonna start at $449 for the Wi-Fi only version and $599 for the version that includes cellular, and it's going to hit stores on October 26th, along with the new iPad Pro. And finally, Apple rolled out a new Apple TV 4K as well. This one's hitting on November 4th, so you gotta wait just a little bit longer. It's gonna start at $129. And the big new thing here are just internal upgrades. There's gonna be an A15 Bionic chip, HDR10+. It's suited for Apple's new software, tvOS 16, which is gonna have cool things like Siri will be able to recognize your voice when you're asking for show recommendations and tailor those recommendations to you. So, software upgrades and better bells and whistles on the inside as well. There's going to be a Wi-Fi only one with 64 gigs of memory, and then a Wi-Fi one with an Ethernet port as well with 128 gigs of memory. So you'll have a couple of options there if you're looking to upgrade, or you want that Apple TV to center your smart home, because they also talked about how the TV can function as a hub for Matter compatibility, which will be the new standard that lets Apple talk to Amazon, talk to Google, how you can look at your smart cameras on your Apple TV. And really, the Apple TV is what's going to allow a lot of your smart home devices to talk to the cloud. That's not new to this Apple TV, but it is important if you want an Apple-centric smart home to have one. All of these upgrades could be nice if you're a power user, if you're looking for those upgraded speeds. Let me know if you're excited about the new iPad Pro, the new iPad, the new Apple TV in the comments. Also, if your name is Power, please let me know that as well. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned to Apt. When we get our hands on these devices, we'll post more, letting you know our impressions and what we think about them. Thanks again.